Welcome to my views on news. Another video for you. Firstly, was Addi Arkay town, North Gondar zone, Amhara region. Who is in control of this town? Both sides are sharing pictures and videos. Now we have received a video on the basis of which we can conclude who is actually in charge of this town. We'll have a look at this video. Secondly, viewers, UN Human Rights Commission on Ethiopia tasked with investigating human rights abuses committed during Tigray conflict has submitted its report to the UN. Parts of the report have been made public. The commission is accusing Ethiopian government that it is involved in acts and measures which have resulted in lack of access for Tigrayans, lack of access to food, water, sanitation. Ridwan Hussein, Ethiopian National Security Advisor, today spoke about this report. He leveled serious allegations against these investigators of UN. Thirdly, viewers, Barbados PM at UN General Assembly ongoing session spoke about Tigray conflict. The lady said that the world should not focus only on Ukraine conflict. It should talk about other conflicts too, like Tigray, Syria, etc. These conflicts will be resolved as well. I want to speak on it. What constructive role is international community playing in resolving Syrian and Ukrainian conflicts? I have been covering all these conflicts. I know what international community is doing there in Ukraine, in Syria. Firstly, viewers, Addi Arkay. Who is in control of this town? Addi Arkay is in North Gondar zone of Amhara region. We know that Tigray, not officially, but several Tigrayan activists, several news sources, they claimed that Addi Arkay was under Tigray control. I also reported in a video that TDF had taken back Addi Arkay. Addi Arkay was under TDF control for almost a year. Then TDF lost it around a week ago after a counter-offensive launched by ENDF and Amhara forces. We saw some pictures, videos as well. We tried to analyze the videos, pictures shared by Tigray side, claiming to show TDF presence in Addi Arkay. And the pictures, videos, some of them were from Addi Arkay. The other side, Ethiopian federal government, Amhara regional government, they kept on denying TDF's claim that TDF was in control of Addi Arkay, but visual evidence was missing. Amhara regional government, local officials were not sharing any evidence from the ground that ENDF Amhara forces were in control of Addi Arkay. Now the visual evidence has come. Addi Arkay government official, public relations officer, I think, has shared a video from the town. It's a long video, a 30-minute coverage. And the government official, local government official, clearly says that there is no TDF in the town. He shows several places in the town. And he says that there is no Tigray forces in the town. And he mentions the alleged propaganda of Tigray news sources as well, that they have launched a fake propaganda that Tigray forces in control of Addi Arkay. It means this is a new video. It's not an old video, because he is mentioning that a propaganda is ongoing that Tigray forces have entered Addi Arkay. So it's a new video, and he shows several places from the town. So it is a convincing piece of evidence that there is no Tigray defense force in Addi Arkay now. He claims that fighting is ongoing more than around 15 kilometers away from Addi Arkay, not in Addi Arkay town. But what we learned is that fighting was close to Addi Arkay. Now TDF might have been pushed back. So this is a visual confirmation that TDF is not in Addi Arkay now. Was it in Addi Arkay? Did it manage to reach close to Addi Arkay? That's another question. But now, when this video was shared a few hours ago, there was no Tigray forces in Addi Arkay. So far, based on this video evidence, we can conclude that Addi Arkay is under ENDF Amhara control. There is no TDF in Addi Arkay. Watch parts of the clip showing Addi Arkay local government official reporting live from Addi Arkay town, and he mentions the claims made by the other side that Tigray forces had entered Addi Arkay. He said the claims were false. Watch the video.
ፈንታ ተረፈ ባላለው ከሰሜን ጎንደር ኮሙኒኬሽን ነው የመጣሁት። ዛሬ አድርቃይ ከተማ የተገኘንበት ዋና ምክንያታችን አሸባሪው የህወሓት ታጣቂ ቡድን የፕሮፓጋንዳ ሰዎች እነ ስታሊን ገብረስላሴን ጨምሮ የህወሓት ታጣቂ ቡድን አድርቃይን ተቆጣጥሯል፣ በድጋሚ አድርቃይን ተቆጣጥሯል እያሉ የሐሰት ፕሮፓጋንዳ ሲያሰራጩ ተመልክተናል። ይሁን እንጂ ይሄን የሐሰት ፕሮፓጋንዳቸውን ማምከንና ውሸቱን ማጋለጥ ስለሚገባን ዛሬ ከስፍራው ተገንተን እንደሚከተለው ለማጋለጥ እንሞክራለን። አድርቃይ ከተማ እንደሚታወቀው መስከረም 2015 ዓ.ም በጥምር ጦራችን ስር ትገኛለች። ሌሎች አካባቢዎችን ዞር እያልኩኝ ፎቶም ምስሎችን አጋራቸዋለሁ። አሁን ደግሞ የወረዳው ዋና አስተዳዳሪ አቶ ሚሊዮን ታደሰን አግኝተናቸዋል። አቶ ሚሊዮን ታደሰ አድርቃይ ተይዛለች አልተያዘችም በሚለው ጉዳይ ጥቂት ይሉናል። አብረን እንቆይ።
እሺ፣ አመሰግናለሁ። ሚሊዮን ታደሰ እባላለሁ። የአዲ አርቃይ ወረዳ ዋና አስተዳዳሪ ነኝ። እንግዲህ እንደሚታወቀው የትምህርት
Secondly, there was UN Commission on Ethiopia, Inquiry Commission, which was formed last year, has submitted its report about investigation of human rights abuses committed during Tigray conflict to UN. Parts of the report have been made public. The commission is accusing Ethiopian government that it is involved and it is involved in crimes against humanity, war crimes, that sufficient ground is there to conclude that Ethiopian government and government forces were involved in crimes against humanity, war crimes which were committed in Tigray. Ethiopian government is rejecting the report, though I think officially report will be made public on Thursday. Ridwan Hussein, Ethiopian National Security Advisor, spoke about this report today. He said this commission of UN investigators is basically a political hitman. It was given a task to undermine Ethiopian government. Like Nima al-Bagir. Nima al-Bagir is CNN reporter of yours, and last year she did several news stories about Tigray conflict. Ethiopian government accused her of being supporting TPLF. And now Ridwan Hussein is equating this commission with Nima al-Bagir. That like Nima was launched by US last year when US-Ethiopia relations were not friendly, when US was threatening to impose sanctions on Ethiopian government last year. Back then Nima did several videos, several news stories about human rights abuses committed in Tigray. So like Nima was launched by US government against Ethiopian government. This commission was launched too against Ethiopia. That is what Ridwan Hussein seems to be saying. In coming days, international pressure is going to increase on Ethiopia. It was based on this report. Obviously, Ethiopian government will come, Eritrean government, they'll come under more international pressure. And to counter this pressure, Ethiopian government is going to release its investigative report. We know that Ethiopian government formed interministerial task force to monitor investigation and prosecution of human rights abuses pointed out by a joint investigation conducted last year by Ethiopian Human Rights Commission and UN Human Rights Body. That investigation was rejected by Tigray regional government, but based on that investigation, Ethiopian government formed a committee, interministerial task force, which is overseeing the investigations and prosecution of human rights abuses reported by that investigation. So in this regard, Ethiopian government is going to release a report in coming days, maybe in 2 to 3 days, that the government will now say that it is already conducting internal investigation and perpetrators are being brought to justice. The report is going to be published to counter UN Commission's report, which is accusing Ethiopian government that it is involved in war crimes and crimes against humanity. Lastly, viewers, Barbados PM a few hours ago spoke at UN General Assembly. She said world should not just focus on Ukraine conflict, it should resolve other conflicts too, like Tigray, Syria and other conflicts. What role is international community playing in Ukraine and Syrian conflicts? In Syria, both US and Russia are protecting their interests. Russian forces are there, US forces too. US backing Kurds there, Russia backing Bashar al-Assad, and Turkey there too, to protect its interest, because there are some groups operating in Syria close to Turkish borders, which Turkey sees as a threat to Turkey. All countries protecting their interests in Syria. What is happening in Ukraine? EU, US are arming Ukraine. They are sending weapons to Ukraine. They are supporting Ukraine financially as well. China is diplomatically supporting Russia. So international community is split. International community is not playing a constructive role to resolve Russia-Ukraine conflict. Or you can say it's not in a position to play a role. So don't expect anything from international community to resolve Tigray conflict too. International pressure can work on Ethiopian government only, but there won't be any consensus on the part of international community to resolve conflicts, because global powers have their own interests. So that is why UN Security Council splits when it comes to making key decisions about international conflicts. Nothing concrete will happen at UN Security Council meetings about Tigray conflict. Some players can play a role, like US can play a role, and US can play a role if Ethiopian government is ready to accommodate US. If Ethiopian government has decided that it will not give in to US pressure, US can play no role as well. Like we saw last year. Last year, US did what it could have done to pressurize Ethiopia, but Ethiopian government did not listen to US calls. So let's see what happens this time. Is Ethiopian government ready to accommodate US a little, or has it decided to press ahead with its military offensive, which is ongoing. Both Eritrean and Ethiopian forces have launched full-scale invasion of Tigray. Watch what Barbados Prime Minister said about Ukraine, Tigray, and Syria conflicts. Thank you for watching.
And if we can ensure fairness by ensuring that we can end conflict and we can end corruption, and we can tell the world that we don't want only to talk about the ending of conflict in the Ukraine. We want conflict ended in Tigray. We want conflict ended in Syria. We want conflict ended wherever it raises its head in the world. We want also conflict ended when it appears to be under the guise of criminality, like it is in Haiti.